Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Beyond the Scale, How 4 Photos and AI Can Transform Fitness. I'm Demina Becker, Senior Vice President of Sales at FitMatch, and thank you so much for joining us. At FitMatch, our mission is simple, to revolutionize the way we understand the human body using cutting-edge computer vision and AI. Today, I'll be walking you through our latest mobile 3D solution, QuadraScan, and how it's transforming the fitness space for athletes, trainers, and coaches. Today, we're also joined by 2 amazing guests. Christian Soriano, an accomplished strength and conditioning coach and owner of Forge Strength Gym in Austin, Texas, with a focus on athletic development. Jermaine Collier, a trainer at Lifetime Fitness in Princeton, New Jersey, who specializes in holistic performance training and client transformations. We'll be hearing from both of them later about how they see QuadraScan fitting into their work. Let's start with the star of today's session, QuadraScan. It's a breakthrough mobile solution that lets you see the body like never before. With just 4 photos, you can unlock 3D insights such as over 25 anthropometric data points for tracking over time, analyzing and accessing body composition data, and be able to know an athlete's peak height velocity, all going beyond what the scale can tell you. Here's how it works. Step 1, take 4 simple photos, front, back, left, and right, using just your iPhone. Step 2, within seconds, QuadraScan generates a hyper-realistic 3D avatar of the body. Step 3, you receive over 25 precise body measurements and composition insights. And the best part, you can repeat scans to track progress over time and actually see the transformation. Now, let's talk about what happens behind the scenes for coaches and trainers. Our Body Insight Portal is a powerful management tool. It allows you to track and organize all your clients or athletes in one place, giving you a bird's eye view of progress and performance. Our goal is to streamline the data you need so you can get back to what you do best. With Body Insights, you'll have access to over 25 anthropometric body measurements, everything from circumferences, limb lengths, ratios, and much more. This goes far beyond what a tape measure can capture and gives you standardized, objective data. You'll have the ability to not only see all your athletes' data and do scan comparisons of an individual athlete, but also compare multiple athletes. What's different with QuadraScan is you can now complete this in the comfort of your own home. No in-person requirements, no bulky hardware, just your mobile device. We are also excited to announce our breakthrough in deriving DEXA-driven body composition insights, such as lean mass, muscle mass, and bone mineral content. Within seconds, you now have access to body data that has been validated with today's gold standard. You can also track key composition metrics like muscle-to-bone ratio and BMI. All this data at your fingertips within 10 seconds. Progress just isn't about weight loss or a number on the scale. We've all seen how tools like GLP-1 medications have shifted the conversation toward outcomes that are measurable and motivating. With QuadraScan, you can bring that same level of clarity and accountability into fitness. Our platform allows you to actually compare body shape over time. That means you can look at a client's transformation month to month or track an athlete's development across a training cycle and see changes in 3D. And this is where things get exciting. We can now analyze youth athletes and unlock their future potential. Our scan allows users to see their peak height velocity, a metric used to understand when kids will hit their growth spurt, so you can identify fast maturing talent. Understanding PHV also helps spot injury risk with rapid growth and personalized training. Christian Soriano is the owner and head coach of Forge Strength in Austin, Texas. After a 14-year career in corporate America, Christian made the leap into fitness to pursue his passion for helping people transform their lives. A USA weightlifting level 1 coach with more than a decade of personal training and group coaching experience, he brings a unique metric-driven approach to strength and conditioning. At Forge Strength, Christian specializes in building personalized programs, holding clients accountable, and creating an environment where relationships and results go hand in hand. So, Christian, what made you leave corporate America and pursue training full time?
I've always been passionate about fitness in general, and it's gonna sound really cheesy, but I do like people, and I get my energy from people. What can I do that I can help someone, that I can build a relationship with someone, and help them become a better version of themselves? So that was kind of the passion that I found, and that the outlet from for that passion was opening my own gym. But before that, beforehand, before I opened Forge, I was doing weekly boot camps all over Austin in different trails, and for free. And I was just having so much fun, and the community that you build, and you hear these stories, and you see people's bodies changing. Um, all that just kind of solidified that, like, hey, this can be something.
Well, Christian, in case you don't know, we are working with, sports teams. And one of the features we do have right now is our peak height velocity. So with children, and you're able to see when they will have their growth spurt. There's a lot of benefits that this has for not only parents and children and coaches.
Understanding the growth spurt, I've never even heard of that.
Yes.
Any software that is able to do that, so that's just going to be huge. Um, Especially because the zip code that my gym is at is so many families are around it that I mean, those two things would stand out so much for a parent, in my opinion.
We all want to know at what point, when do they grow? It's different for boys, it's different for girls. So it's like to be able to really get into that and find out is great. I know that you had the opportunity to check out our portal, and I'd love to know, what excited you the most, how you felt about it, and really like how you feel that this is going to help you with your clients.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things that I think is of value is that no longer are you going to use a tape measure to measure the waist, right? There's no Excel files, there's no like Apple Notes. There's just like a scan, you take some pictures, and those pictures build an avatar. So I mean, I think that's kind of the biggest one of the biggest things is looking at your avatar once you take the pictures and you do the 360. I think that's in itself is gonna paint a picture for a client, right? And I haven't seen that in any other software. And exposure to the scans is the in-body scan, the little machine. So you have this machine that you have to use, right? So all those things were kind of things that were like in the back of my head when I was using the app. I'm like, man, this is just so easy, right? And it again, it's just a visual representation that you can show any client. For me too, right? It was very insightful to see what my body looks like, and the measurements that I have. So that was really, I think it's very powerful as a coach.
And you think that this now will obviously save time for you and your clients as well as being able to do it from home? Do you have like clients that are currently like maybe go on vacation? Do you think that this is just like a great added feature?
Oh, for accountability purposes, I think it's a game changer, right? And again, I keep highlighting the ease of use of the app, and the how easy it is to create your avatar. So I think that encourages people that might be hesitant, to maybe go, have you like go around, right, with a little tape measure, right? Or, I mean, I can tell you for personal experience, I use a software. So the software calculates based on, your waist, your hip, your weight, your age, right? Which in theory is good, but there's never been, for me at least, as a coach, there's never been an actual 3D layout of my client,
Hmm.
which I think is really again something that I think is a big differentiator.
And do you think like athletes and your clients will be motivated by seeing the progress in 3D?
Definitely. I think that's gonna be because you'll laugh, but one of the things that I always say, you do the mirror test, right? Yeah, after, a couple of weeks, how do you look in the mirror? I think that this just takes it tenfold, right? to, actual data behind not just your avatar, and you can kind of like play around with your avatar and spin around, but you actually have, insightful metrics like, BOT, VO2, obviously body fat, which is really important. So muscle percentage, bone density, all these different things, I think is going to be something that is going to help keep the client accountable and keep the other thing too is as a coach, you're going to be accountable too, right?
Yes.
Because your client's going to see the progress, and also, that's kind of like going to be a way for you to hold yourself accountable and really train and customize and pivot depending on the results that you're getting based on the data that you're getting from the app.
And then what about like spot imbalances? Like one leg is bigger or stronger than the other. Do you think that will also be helpful for you in training?
Thank you for calling that out. That's actually something that I encountered last week with my client Denal.
Uh-huh.
Her left leg and hip are not as strong as the right. So when she was squatting, she was kind of turning one way, right? And then we started talking about what was happening, all these different things. So turns out that side we need to isolate and do a little bit more hinge motions, a little bit more kind of hip strengthening um, drills, like a pistol squat and things like that. But having a way to track that now week to week or every 2 weeks, right? To see what type of strength increase we're looking at week to week is going to be something that's going to help me help keep her safe, and also to measure how she's progressing.
Yeah, I know. I've been back on my workout journeys and I realized like my left side is so much weaker than my right side.
This is why I personally am a big fan of unilateral movements like a lunge. They're very powerful tools and exercises, the Bulgarian split squat, in my opinion. But what I'm getting at is that showing your client, like, hey, your left side is a little stronger or your right side needs a little bit more work, is just going to help you as a coach, be able to get more buying and more accountability from your client because there's data behind it, right? Which is, I
Yes.
think, is again really important.
And you think like from this you guys can capitalize on it. So like if you add QuadraScan to Forge Strength, like you could add on paid services or anything that you can build with your clients to kind of monetize for you.
Most definitely. I mean, I'm so happy that we connected with FitMatch, because I want to make sure that I differentiate myself from other gyms.
Yes.
And again, the fact that it's just you download the app, you take the pictures at home, you're comfortable, you don't have to come into the gym, you don't have to do anything. That in itself is powerful. The other thing too is just gonna give me an opportunity to incorporate that as a value added service, right?
Yes.
Which is just gonna, help me as a business owner, a small business owner, be able to get provide better service, but also be able to generate a little bit more income. I mean, my mind is racing as we're talking, right? Because one thing that I've seen in Austin, my gym is in Austin, and one thing that I've seen is around $20 is kind of what they charge for that in-body scan that you grab, and then
Mhm.
so that can be potentially another revenue stream for me, which is really great. And the other powerful thing of having that ability, one, you don't have an equipment, right? And two, right, it's kind of like a way to generate a lead that
Yes.
can potentially transition into a client, right?
Yeah.
So I think that as the owner is going to be a game changer, and I definitely want to be in the forefront here in Austin because Austin is a very competitive market. So anything that's going to help me stand out is going to be incredible.
Is this something that you can definitely see like a transformation program and really emphasizing on that with this sort of data?
I mean, my vision is to have FitMatch on my website and have the actual avatars as success stories, as part of my website. So you have that before and after. But I think this is going to be even more powerful, right? It's like an actual avatar, with information in it. So I think that's just going to give again um, more credibility, more insights, and it's going to result in better training and better results from it.
And can you share like a little bit of your training philosophy at Forge Strength and then the kind of clients that you work with and like exercises and how you kind of feel like this is going to maybe take it to the next level?
Yeah, most definitely. So I've coached anyone and everyone that you can think of. I've coached, I was very proud to coach two 74-year-old women, and I had them squatting on a box, and that was amazing, right? I've had, some young kids that were training for football, and anyone in between, right? I've trained couples. So right now I have between 30 and 40-ish, kind of that's the range that I'm training right now. And my philosophy is heavy with metabolic conditioning, right? So I usually divide my sessions. I customize them, but high level it's you. I try to hit for 5 sets of 5 reps, around 75% of someone's 1 rep max. So that's the heavy part,
Oh,
and I complement that with some metabolic conditioning usually, and that's been very effective. Especially right now, I have like about 60% women, so that's been very effective with them strength training. In itself has just been great with all my clients, and that metabolic conditioning supplement to that session has also been very successful.
I've really felt like from the trainers that we've spoke to, it's really been focused on strength training. And I think that maybe there's some things that you can shed light on the importance. I know that sometimes people would think that if they did strength training, they would bulk up or they would kind of steer away. And I know that there's such a huge thing right now with women as they're getting older and how important it is to really focus on that. So if you could shed some light just like on the importance of it and really what it does for your fitness journey.
It increases your bone density, right? Especially for women. I think that's important, especially if you're planning to be a mom at one point. That's very important. Hip strength. It helps with hip strength. One of the biggest things is core development, right?
Mhm.
Just having some, like, for instance, when you're squatting, you have weight on your back, you're developing that core, right? So what I've seen is just improvement in posture, improvement and less back strain, and more core strength, and also stability in general, right? I mean, I mentioned Bulgarian split squats. That's great for balance and stability for women and for everyone, right? So those are kind of some of the things that I believe in and that I've seen with clients, especially with women,
Mhm.
when we incorporate some a strength training consistently. Squats, deadlifts. Those have been very powerful and have given me results. One thing that you didn't mention, which I think is very important, that a lot of coaches don't understand, everybody is different. That's why having an avatar and having the metrics for that specific person is so powerful. A lot of these training programs are built for the median. There's going to be people that build muscle more easily, that gain fat more easily. So having a way to customize a program based on their metrics, and they so we can have a visual of that, is something that is a no brainer as a coach.
Say, for instance, a client shares their 3D avatar or progress visuals like on social media. Do you think that would drive referrals or new signups for Forge Strength? Do you think that if people are continuing to, having distribution and people are using it, do you think that would help you guys?
Most definitely. I would feel that at least weekly, at least we would get at least 3 to 5 hits about that post, at least, which for me, I'm solely personal training.
Right.
So for me, 3 to 4 hits a week, and out of those 3 or 4, even if it's one for me, it's really good. So that can be just another big intake for leads, which is obviously something that as a business owner, you're constantly driving for.
So, do you see maybe opportunities for partnerships with like other metric driven fitness platforms or healthcare providers being like an early adopter of this kind of tech?
I have at least 5 friends that are physical therapists that I've worked with.
Uh huh.
So collaborate having that, being able to share that with them, for someone again that maybe, we've done some mobility drills, we've done some strength training, we've worked on that hip, we've worked on that side, but it's just something more detailed. That's an easy transition that I can share with the physical therapist. and that's already they're already ahead of the game too. So at the end of the day, you're going to have a healthier, happier client, and you're going to have a quicker, I wouldn't say recovery, but you know what I'm referring to. It's just going to be a much more uh, impactful visit. And for me too, it's just going to make me a better trainer too, because I'm going to be able to see what side I need to work on the most
Yeah.
faster
Mhm.
before we get these like, hey, my hip's a little tight. What's happening? So it's going to make me even a better trainer too,
Yeah.
having those insights.
What advice would you give to other trainers or gym owners who are thinking about adding QuadraScan in their offerings?
You're going to be behind the ball game if you don't implement this, right? For me personally, I'm fortunate that I'm in the beginning process of this, right? I'm already, familiar with the software, and my plan is to keep using it with my clients. But the answer is more like you need to, right, before other gyms do. So it's a no-brainer.
I know that you mentioned you're also a minority owner and you want to give back to the people. And can you kind of tell us a little bit about that journey?
A skinny kid from Mexico that was doing 100 push-ups at home. When I was growing up, I never saw someone like me that looked like me, right? Even now, I take pride in my heritage and being Latino, right? Um, because I'm not gonna be, this huge guy, right, ever, but I am a fit person, and I think that, you know, that more people and more communities that see, oh my God, yeah, he's a business owner. So one of my goals before the year ends is to you have like some group classes for kids in the area that are Hispanic and that are Latino, because again, when I was growing up, no one really looked like me or, that I could look up to. So that was a motivating factor to like, show people that like, yeah, we can also, do important things in fitness and have a business and be effective and impact the community, impact clients, being a Latino.
I think that's wonderful. I've always said the same thing. I think you have to give back to the community, especially when you're in a place to do so. Christian, thank you so much for today. I cannot wait to partner with you and hear about all the wonderful things you're doing. If you could let us know, give us your social handles, how that people can get in touch with you.
The easiest way would be forgestrengthaustin.com. And on Instagram, it's just Forge Strength, and you'll have a little logo like this. So there we go.
Great. We're joined by Jermaine Collier, trainer at Lifetime in Princeton, New Jersey, who's going to share his perspective on how a tool like this could fit into his practice. So tell us about your own fitness journey, and what has been important to you along the way.
Oh, wow, that's an excellent question. So, um, I started my athletic journey at 8 years old with track and field and football, but a lot changed post college for me. So I was 188 pounds while I was in college. And after I graduated, I went from this amazing athlete to just a normal working class citizen. And I had a hard time making that pivot because I didn't really know who I was outside of my athletic journey. And dealing with all of that, I just went for what I knew, which is like a ton of cardio. So I ended up going from 188 pounds to about 158. I'm 6'1". I looked very malnourished. I had to make a change. And I didn't really know how to. So I started to do research. Obviously, I couldn't follow the same program as I did previously. So just research. And my wife actually came up with the idea, why don't you get into personal training? I was my first experiment. So I got into the gym and learning from, my coworkers, some of my former teammates, my friends, just a plethora of just knowledge. So I started my resistance training journey. And over the time, I'm like, wow, like I'm seeing the growth. I'm feeling the growth, but there was a void that, I couldn't really fill. And it was just the pictures of the journey, where I started versus where I am now. I didn't have that.
Can you tell us a little bit about your training philosophy and the kind of clients that you typically work with?
So my philosophy, it's the same when I coach versus train. It's you win or you learn. You only lose if you give up. Um, and that weighs heavy on me because a lot of athletics or being a competitor, it's always winning and losing. No one ever talks about what do you learn. So every time I make a mistake or I don't get the result that I wanted, it's like, okay, well, what did you learn from that experience? It's not necessarily losing if you actually learn from the mistakes that you make, and then you're better the next time. I work with a range of individuals. My youngest person was 10 years old. My oldest is in their 60s.
How do you capture measurements today, and how is that process working?
That's the question I was waiting for. Currently, I use an in-body scanner. That's what Lifetime provides. But I focus on really three categories: body fat, lean muscle mass, and where your visceral fat is. The goal is to watch that lean body mass go up as the fat mass goes down. But it will be nice to get a visual of that, which is why I like Fit Match so much. I just had a conversation with one of my clients today, and I wish that we had Fit Match earlier because she was overweight before. She was very, very self-conscious about the clothes that she wore. And we had a conversation today. It's like, like I'm buying skirts now. I'm buying crop tops now. Just hearing that and like going through that experience with her, it's like, wow, you went from this person. Now you're so proud to look at yourself in the mirror. So it's a wonderful thing, and I wish we had the Fit Match because of the 3D scanning. So it's one thing to see the numbers change, like your lean body mass is going up, your fat is going down, but what does that look like? We can see the numbers on paper, but even when you're taking progress photos, you're not getting the full 360 of
Yeah.
what it looks like. You know, it'll be nice to have those exact measurements so she can see, the inches go down from her waist or from her stomach, legs, or whatever the case may be.
I'm on my own weight loss journey, and as you get older, your body changes, of course, but I've been really excited because I am able to track. It's great to hear that insight. How would you see QuadraScan fitting into your current training approach at Lifetime?
Oh, I would definitely, it would have to be a part of the periodic, like just check-ins. So it just adds a layer of precision, right? You have the numbers from the InBody, which is excellent, but the InBody doesn't tell you what that looks like. So if I lose or gain, 3 pounds of muscle, okay, I know that I lost or gained that, but where and what does that look like? So I would integrate it into my onboarding, process, that first initial goal setting session to where we figure out your goals and we get your baseline of where you are. And I would incorporate it the same every 4 to 6 weeks. We would do the same thing. So that way, yeah, you know what the scale says, but you also know where your body is and how it's transforming throughout the process. It would be different per client, right? You have some clients who are just worried about their functionality. That's usually the older clients who are like, I just want to make sure I can pick up my grandkids, or, I want to make sure I can go up and down the stairs. Their focus is really on being independent, where the younger demographic, it's more aesthetic. I think that demographic, even the athletes, they're about, building mass sometimes, building lean muscle. So that demographic, whether you're an athlete or you're a part of that younger demographic, which is usually 60 and under, that's where it's like, okay, like I want to lose my belly, or I want to grow my legs, arms, whatever the case may be. Those are the people where they'll be more excited about incorporating this in the programming.
I know like trainers often ask, like, how can I monetize this?
Mhm.
So if you imagine adding QuadraScan to your offering, what types of paid services do you think you could build on top of that?
It's a service. Clients, they may want to scan monthly, and it opens the door for a subscription type of thing. How we do the in-body scanning, unless you are like a client, you don't get the full circle or the full service. Like you can use the public in-body scanner, but you have to take a picture of the results. With the scanner, if you're working with a trainer, you get a printout, and it's every month, so you get that. It would be the same with FitMatch. You can get it's a monthly subscription. If you can have the app as well, and you can get this stuff done anywhere. It's just you submit 4 photos, and there you go. That's another thing people miss out on. You want to be as symmetrical as possible. So with FitMatch being a part of that service, it's more accurate, and it's relative to what they're trying to accomplish. It definitely helped me. I saw my results, and it's like, oh wow, one leg is not drastically different, but it's like a half of inch thicker than the other side. And it's like, oh crap! Like I thought I was symmetrical, but muscle mass is lean muscle mass is very important. And when you're talking about being symmetrical, you're talking about an equal amount of forces. All right. So if you're not symmetrical, that means one side may be doing a lot more than the other. Then you develop these muscle imbalances, which no one really wants, because then you deal with joint pain, mobility issues, and it just grows.
And is this something common that you see with most clients?
Yes, because no one trains unilateral. They only do bilateral training because it's easier. The truth is we are not completely symmetrical, unless, you're just gifted that way. But we have a dominant side and less dominant side. You might be right-handed, you might be left-handed. And what tends to happen is people favor one side. All right. I have a lot of clients who are right-handed. So when we do unilateral training, which is with one side, when it gets to that less dominant side, they have more challenges. That's why they don't want to do that. They like bilateral because you can't really tell which side is weak. So being able to say, hey, I need you to submit these 4 photos so that we can track your progress. You don't have to come in-house and use the body scanner. And also, one of my pet peeves is when I have a check-in scheduled and I go and it's being used. All right. Because then that ties into the hour or half-hour session that we're supposed to be conducting. Now everything is thrown off because we have to wait to use the machine instead of submit these 4 photos. You can do it at the comfort of your own home. That's game changing. No scale is going to tell you your circumference or like what the inches look like.
Do you think clients would stick around longer if they had a visual record of their transformation?
Yes, absolutely. The fit match, the body scan, that's like, it's in your face. One of the biggest fears for a lot of people is gaining inches, or for some, even losing inches. It's expensive. It's not even just like the mental part of it. Like I had to buy different clothes. My jeans changed. So it's a difference when, you're thinking about it, right? But it becomes a fact when you have the results right in front of you. It's highly shareable. I shared it with family members. Well, really my wife, and she ended up doing it too. And it's authentic. And what it could do is just spike that curiosity, because it's like, it doesn't matter who they are. If you're a fitness enthusiast, you have been working out or have not been working out, we want to see those results. Everyone wants to see the results, because even if we don't admit it, we want to be proud of what we see in the mirror.
Could you envision gyms or even other metric-based fitness tech companies wanting to partner with trainers who use this tech?
Absolutely. It's a premium service, right? And as much as some individuals are paying for training or, for body recomposition in general, offering a service to where they can get a visual of what their body looks like, it's just next level. Times are changing. Um, Services just have to grow as well. It's for me, it's boring. Like standing on the scale, it's very, very repetitive and it's not as engaging, right? We go and do these body comps, we have the conversations about, okay, you have this much fat, this much muscle, but it's more general than I would like. Even with the segmental fat analysis, like it tells you how much fat or muscle you have in your arms, your legs, but having the QuadraScan results, you get to go more in depth of what the body looks like and is made of.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. If anyone would like to train with you in Princeton, New Jersey, how can they find you?
Oh man, I'm almost everywhere. I'm I'm on Instagram at Coach JAYIZFIT. My email is the same thing, Coach JAYIZFIT at gmail.com.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so
Very
much.
welcome. Thanks for having me.
QuadraScan is here to help you and your clients move beyond the scale. With 4 photos and AI, you can easily access accurate body insights in seconds. If you'd like to bring QuadraScan into your training or business, please reach out to us at sales@fitmatch.ai so we can get you up and running in no time. You can also scan the QR code on your screen right now to download QuadraScan and try it on your iPhone. Thank you so much for your time today. I look forward to connecting with many of you after this session.